Appreciate y'all chilling and politicking and paying attention because it's real vital. You heard me? Trench Talk TV. So that's what it's gonna sound like. It ain't gonna sound like nothing sugarcoated. It ain't gonna sound like what you want to hear. It's gonna be Trench Talk.
All right, what up, man? I want to welcome y'all back to another episode of Trench Talk TV, where we aim to explore, educate, and exhibit perspectives from the trenches everywhere. And today, we got a special guest I want to introduce to y'all. Some may know him as A1, formerly known as A1 Whistle.
Yeah.
Today, he go by just Zay.
Yeah, Jay.
Literally just that.
Zay. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, man, you done made quite a stir in the last 2-3 years, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Give him a little intro about yourself.
I mean, I'm Baton Rouge, you hear me? You know, like I'm tapped in, like I got that legacy. You know, I just been telling my story along with other, you know, of my peers that came up with me, stories that, you know, may correlate some stories that people don't, you know, really have the details to, or like just what they heard. Like I could give you like the truth, you know, the 100%. Like, and then the way I give it to you, I ain't gonna like try to make myself look good or look bigger, or you know what I'm saying, or make them look no bigger than what they is. I'm gonna just cut it how I cut it, and like that's just my opinion. You know, like I ain't saying that anything I say is just complete law, but I think I got a good perspective. You know what I'm saying? That's
a big reason and why we reached out to you, because you do have an interesting perspective on a lot. You was right on another point. A lot of people be in the comments. They love these Baton Rouge untold stories.
Right.
Truth be told, we got a lot of influence on the industry and stuff right now.
Yeah.
So I think now is a better time. It couldn't have been a better time for these stories and people like yourself, Big Head, and just the list goes on, to go ahead and start getting this stuff out.
Oh yeah, because I feel like, you know, I came up on like the Nicky Barnes stories, the Frank Lucas, you know, Bumpy Johnson, etc. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I really had to think about it. Like, man, I know some real niggas from down here that, you know, got it on the same kind of way.
Right in your backyard.
Yeah, right in my backyard, and you know what I'm saying? I plan on getting more of them stories out about the, you know, the real Baton Rouge at some point, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, we gotta start somewhere, you feel me?
Right, and man, we're gonna start from the beginning.
Oh, let's do it.
You from South Baton Rouge?
Yeah.
That's a prominent neighborhood in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. A lot of artists in the industry today. It's just a big light on South Baton Rouge. If you could, please, man, tell us, paint a picture, the difference between South Baton Rouge and every other neighborhood.
South Baton Rouge is like, it's like the cornerstone of Baton Rouge. Like, you got North Baton Rouge, is a bunch of hoods put in one. You know what I'm saying? And then when you think of South Baton Rouge, you only think about the bottom and the top. You know what I'm saying? But South Baton Rouge is big. It go all the way like the Blue Bonnet if you really want. You know what I'm saying? That's like white people territory or whatever. But the South is right next to LSU. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's crazy. You got LSU students, you know, $1 million homes right there on the lake, you know what I'm saying? And you turn
smack dab in the middle of the hood.
You in the hood. I'm talking about shack houses, shotguns, you know what I'm saying? And then it's going down. You feel me?
Right.
But when I was coming up in the South, it's different from coming up in the South now. You know what I'm saying? When I grew up in the South, like the South still had like a lot of big dogs, a lot of culture in it. We used to have the bottom bash. You know what I'm saying? McKinley games used to be off the whim wham. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like,
and you came up in the 80s, late 80s?
Well, I grew up I was born in 84, so I say like the time I grew up in the South was like 98 to now, you know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Man, how many siblings did you have?
I got one brother, you know what I'm saying? My younger brother, he 10 years younger than me. Everybody know him in the streets, but it's crazy cause like, he got cerebral palsy. So he never walked a day in his life without, you know, straining to walk over the walker, you know what I'm saying?
Sorry to hear that.
Oh, no, it's good. Like, man, he's probably the strongest person I know, you know what I'm saying? Like, mentally, and just, he take care of his 2 kids on his own, you know what I'm saying?
He's will.
Yeah, like, And like I say, everybody know him, you know what I'm saying? So he get around good, like he talk well, you know what I'm saying? Like that's like little me, you feel me? Yeah, so like that's my older sibling, my younger brother, you know what I'm saying?
With a 10-year age difference, that would have made you the only child for 10 years on you single or married household?
Married household, still married.
Congratulations to them.
Yeah.
Shout out to that black love. We don't hear too many of them stories.
No, not at all.
These days.
Yes, sir.
Hold up. That's my bitch. So you had both parents. Only child. How was school for you coming up in South Baton Rouge around that time?
Well, when I was coming up before my brother got here, I grew up in Monticello. That's like close to the Sherwood.
Gotcha.
And I mean, when I stayed back there, like it was a lot of like middle class black families. You know what I'm saying? And shit, man, we was them kids that stayed outside on go-karts playing football. I'm talking about it could be rain, sleet, or snow. We outside. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's different from what's going on these days. They got the phones, you know, TikTok, all that shit. But we was outside for real. You know what I'm saying? I remember like, I might have been about 11 or 12. See, you know, it's crazy. You know, people from Sherwood like big. So like you could be from the back of Sherwood, like Bel Air and shit. You could be from like Park Forest. They got Park Forest East, all that shit. They got Monticello right there. Mm-hmm. That's right before you get in the back, you know what I'm saying? And then they got Brandywine, they had that, you know what I'm saying? So I went up the way by the Meadows. That's like a part of Sherwood too, like the Boulevard, you know what I'm saying? And my auntie stayed over there. We over there playing football. Everybody got nice starter jackets, you heard me? We taking them bitches off, putting them in a pile. Man, we throwing the football, playing, you heard me? Nigga just come by, swoop up all the starter jackets and take off on him. And ran off on all of that. Nigga had about 12 starter jackets, so that's when I knew Baton Rouge was on some other shit.
Right, you learned early.
Oh boy, I'm like, oh, all right, that's how they playing it. You know, I hadn't got, you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, but I'm a Bazille, so my family big as a bitch. Like we from New Rose, then my grandma, she Old Bird Station, so I grew up there. Then all my cousins that's from the South, I was, you know what I'm saying, once I got an age and I knew them, I used to be going down there. So that's when I got off the poach here, you know what I'm saying? Like I grew up, and then I used to be in Scotland because I went to Southern Lab. So every day after Southern Lab, I had to go to my auntie house in Scotland.
So you done lived all over?
Yeah, like man, that's why everybody know me, you know what I'm saying? Since I was little, for real. Then I played ball, so like, you know, when you do AAU and all that shit, and if you could play, you gonna know people, you feel me?
You mentioned you played basketball. You say you was pretty good.
Yeah, I was Gunsmoke. I'm still Gunsmoke. I be busting shit up still to this day.
Man, I want to ask you, in the era that you came up, are you familiar with the name Ryan Francis?
Most definitely.
Did y'all play against each other in school?
Man, Ryan like about 3 or 4 years younger than me, so I can remember when like being at sports academy and seeing them shoot around and, you know, playing with the younger kids, you know what I'm saying?
For the people who don't know, give us a brief spiel about who Ryan Francis is.
Man, Ryan Francis, like, if I could sort the newer generation, he our Ja Morant, he our Allen Iverson, you know what I'm saying? In real life, like, I'm talking about little nigga with the heart of a lion, you know what I'm saying? More heart than Jesus, like, man, I'm talking about, man, he went to Glen Oaks, you know, all-star guard, but I mean, bro couldn't have been no taller than 5'9", maybe 5'10", you know what I'm saying? Weigh about 160 wet, you know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about shoot the lining off the ball, you can't stop him off the dribble, and he going to the cup hard, like he gonna finish, you know what I'm saying? Against bigs, you know? I'm talking about had bigs like, what's going on, tapping their head, you feel me?
Right.
Yeah, like he was like that, bro. Then, you know, like, to let him know how like that he was, you going to USC from Baton Rouge. Nigga, that's like loving basketball.
And they retired his jersey.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. He played with Nick Young. Nick Young was, you know, Nick Young say that boy, you know, used to be tearing him up in practice, you feel me? Like, yeah, you know. I think he definitely would have hit the league, you know what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
Yeah. It's like one of Baton Rouge's most tragic stories.
Most tragic stories. He came home, I believe, on like a Mother's Day weekend or something like that.
Besides Warwick Dunn story, I would say Ryan Francis like right behind top 3. Like, damn, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like that. I think, and I could honestly say, like, after Ryan got killed, Baton Rouge violence wasn't the same. Like, it kind of had went down. Like, like nigga had like a different perspective because nigga was slanging that bitch and it wasn't even for him. You know what I'm saying?
You recall about what year that was?
Man, I don't want to lie, but if I got a good timeline to see, so I'd say probably about maybe 07, 08 maybe.
I asked you that question because of this specifically. I was talking to one of my partners the other day, and man, we all fans of Soulja Slim.
Oh yeah, James Tapp.
Man, he got this famous video that been going around for years. I think we all know it. He said if a nigga was out here on the street past 94 and he was out here on the streets, then he was a gangster.
He's a motherfucking gangster.
It was rooted and weak.
Yeah.
Man, when I think about that, I think about years 08 and 09 in Baton Rouge.
Mm-hmm. This was, from what I remember.
Give us some insight from your perspective, because there was some crucial times.
Yeah.
Man, a lot was going on.
It had a unspoken curfew. Like, if you wasn't in the streets, do not be outside after 8 p.m. type shit.
Right.
Like, if you needed to go to Albertsons or Walmart on College Drive, maybe.
Right.
You better go before 8. Because after 8, it's going dig it. You hear me? Like, yeah, like what they say is up, or it was up and stuck. For about 2 years. About a year and a half going on 2 years, like, yeah. And that's what's the difference now. But see, this the thing. In Baton Rouge, like, they had sidewalks. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you wasn't off the porch, you might be on the sidewalk.
There wasn't a lot of innocent people getting.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, the streets was the streets. You know what I'm saying? But in that segment of those years, the streets spilled over to everywhere. Kind of like how we seen shit happen by the mall recently. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was going down like that back then. Like, it was shootings in the mall.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't no place that it wasn't like, oh, we can't do it here. Like,
Baton Rouge was never a stranger to it.
No.
A lot of people hear about.
I feel like it's getting a lot like that, how it was back then now.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
A lot of people be fans, man. They forget stories like how Lil Ivy got killed.
Mm-hmm.
That's somebody else you grew up.
R.I.P. Yeah.
You grew up
that was my big dog. You know what I'm saying? That's the first young big dog I knew. You know what I'm saying? Like, that really took care of the hood. Like, yeah, that was.
Was that around your excuse me? Was that around your high school era?
Yeah, my senior year, about the summer after my junior year, going into my senior years, when I used to like really be in the top. You know what I'm saying? And my whole after my senior year, like, once I graduated, that's where I was. Like, I was in the hood.
Man, I want you to paint a picture. Aside from the violence, I want you to paint a picture of what Baton Rouge was really looking like as far as culture. We had a lot of, you had fun stuff to do back then. You had spots like Shenanigans.
Yeah.
The Plaza. A lot of people don't know about that.
Yeah, Plaza Live.
It was a different time out here. Could you paint that picture of what it was like when you got these timers like your big Marquises and your Pigs and your Lil Ivies? It's a lot of money in the streets around here.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, some money through this bitch right now. It's just a different kind of money, and then I don't feel like they know what to do with it, right? But back then, bro, everybody had an old school on some things with that yang in it, you know what I'm saying? And then they had a nice little like Lexus or, you know what I'm saying? Nigga was pushing something or a little CTS on some, nigga was riding Latrell street rails on spinners, you know what I'm saying? Like, we riding spinners, like, yeah, like we was on it. But to make them understand it, to make a young nigga understand back then, how like on a holiday, how Boiling Rule and the Grind, or you know that little racetrack on Sherwood and Corsa, how everybody fuck the club outside.
Right.
You know how everybody outside, cars coming through holes, they fighting. You know it's going down. Everybody taking pictures. Nigga, that's where it was everywhere. Like if it was going down on Florida, that's how it's gonna look at the club on Florida. If it's going down on Airline, that's how it's gonna look at City Night. If it's going down on well, you know what I'm saying, the barcode on, you know what I'm saying? All the park, you know the stand parking lot pimping.
Mm-hmm.
You could parking lot pimp down here, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even have to go in the club. Like, all you had to do is get, you know, you have a nice whip or a nice old school, come through, park that bitch, smoke, drink. You know what I'm saying? Somebody gonna shoot that bitch up, everybody go home. That was every weekend. Now I feel like now it gotta be something particular going on, or a holiday, or a raw concert for it to be lit like that. Man, it was lit like that every day of the week. It was Dreams on Monday. Like, nigga, it wasn't no stopping no party. Like, that bitch start Thursday at probably Insomnia or somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Friday is shenanigans, Saturday is vibes, Sunday is something probably M-bar something. You know what I'm saying? And then Monday you at Dream. You still gotta go to work during the week.
What factors do you think played a part in that big shift?
Well, we had a lot of party promoters that like really knew how to throw parties and promo and do marketing the right way. And it wasn't, I feel like it's oversaturated now. They got so many niggas that's trying to do a party. Well, back then, they was kind of cornering the market. Like, they wasn't, even if you wanted to throw a party, if you ain't had no name or no muscle behind that, a nigga was gonna take your crowd, though. You know what I'm saying? A nigga gonna come to your shit and fuck your shit up. So they should make sure they shit legit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like the same thing with DJs. Only certain DJs was playing, you know, the clubs. Like, it was DJ Bobby had shenanigans. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So you see what I'm saying? It wasn't gonna be no frequent DJs coming through no one club. It was gonna be one DJ. You know what I'm saying? Or however that go, and I feel like the party scene just got oversaturated. And then I feel like the niggas who had this bitch, like TJ Perfect 10, he had this bitch for about 15 years. Then Vic got it after him with AAA. You know what I'm saying? And then they did that, you know, they transferred the AAA to the district. You know what I'm saying? Or what? That bitch done got name changed a bunch of times, but Vic had this bitch for about 10 years. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, you know, they had it's a lot of other party promoters like Roy Shannon and some other niggas I can't really remember right now, but it wasn't nothing but about 6 or 7 like conglomerates, you know what I'm saying?
So
and
check this out.
That shit made this bitch pop.
You set it up like that, so I gotta ask. Man, with that many prominent entities moving and making the city boom like it was, man, you don't think it's a little deeper, more so, you know, Baton Rouge always been real cliquish.
Yeah.
We known for having a real crab in a bucket mentality.
For sure.
I'm taking my ball and I'm going over here with these 2-3 people.
Right.
It'd be a shortage in exchanging information and stuff. Handing a baton when the time is necessary.
Right. It's a lot of gatekeeping.
That part.
Yeah, it's a lot of gatekeeping. I can honestly say that. Like, it's so much talent through this bitch, and just, you know, niggas with great minds that don't ever get exposed because of the gatekeeping, you know what I'm saying? I mean, but when you think about it, bro, you got to understand why it's being done. This bitch don't have much opportunity, right? So the niggas who do gain some power of this bitch, that care about having some power here, like, it's like, man, it ain't nothing to be shared. So they be trying to corner the market. But I'm trying to get a nigga to understand the world bigger than Baton Rouge. So if Baton Rouge click up together, we can get some real money, go buy some land and take over a whole nother city. I ain't saying we could just go bogart no city like a Houston or some, you know what. I'm talking like, you seen Tulsa King? You seen that?
Nah, I've been meaning to watch it.
Man, watch this shit. Watch this shit.
I know what you're talking about. Man, we one step removed away from being what Atlanta was a few years ago.
One step. Man, you said a lot right there, bro.
It's not that hard.
See, but Atlanta went away from what they knew, and now they at odds, and now we watching RICO cases and shit, cause you see what I'm saying? They fighting over Atlanta basically. But man, it ain't gotta be like that. Atlanta was supposed to be going to take over the world. And I feel like a lot of Baton Rouge mentality come from Chicago. Nigga, the new Baton Rouge mentality. Nigga was on that Chief Keef so hard, you know what I'm saying? And it's more like gang activity. It's still cliques, it's still hoods, but it's more like gang activity. Because this is why I'm gonna tell you it's more like gang activity. In Baton Rouge, everybody family and blood, and know some, you know what I'm saying? It's getting to the point where
you don't think it's like that in Chicago?
Yeah, but in Chicago, I'm finna make it correlate for you. You gotta choose sides. In the old Baton Rouge, it was known who was in the streets. Like it wasn't nothing but a couple handfuls of killers, like real killers. You know what I'm saying? And them was the niggas who was beefing. Everybody else who was on the outskirts that sold drugs and whooped around, they might have had to, you know, pay a couple killers some drab. You know what I'm saying? But everybody pretty much knew they lane, right? Now it's more so, I don't care if you my cousin, if you go against my clique that I be running with, man, we'll burn you too. It wasn't like that back in the Gap, but back in the Gap, a cousin could come mediate a situation to where it's like, I mean, we ain't gotta be cool, but we ain't gotta be at odds, you know what I'm saying? I feel like Baton Rouge and Chicago, it's like a gang activity type. Why we call this bitch that rap? It ain't from Iraq, from real. Nigga was developing something from Chicago.
I think all that just derived from a lack of respect.
Yeah. But it's a lack of respect because niggas really living in fear. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, it's so much going on. It's like, when I leave my house, I gotta get home. I gotta go home. So if I know this what a nigga on, I'm on this type of time too. And that's what everybody done develop. You see what I'm saying? But see, Red, we was just talking about my dog outside, right? Mm-hmm. Inside fist box, outside gunplay.
It was understood.
That was understood with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it made niggas who they was doing that to say, well, fuck it. If I gotta fight you in the club and we gonna shoot it outside, I ain't fighting. We might as well just shoot. You know what I'm saying? That's where everybody toting guns come from, right? Where in Baton Rouge. All right, then you got Chief Keef them get hot with this drill scene, and you know, Baton Rouge nigga was tapped in when Von them was doing what they was doing before King Von was a rapper. Nigga knew who King Von was already, cause nigga was on YouTube. Like niggas is fanned out about killers. So it's just what it is. Nigga be wanting to know the details, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Nigga developed some of them mannerisms and like that lifestyle. Like,
I follow you.
You know what I'm saying?
I follow you.
Yeah. And this bitch wicked now. This bitch wicked. This bitch Switch City.
Yeah, that's the new name.
Yeah, this bitch Switch City. That's what it is. That shit is horrible. But this the thing. I got to have a Switch because they got one. And he got one. So that's the same thing I was saying about inside fist box, outside gunplay. I mean, it's a fearful tactic, and I gotta win. I gotta go home. I can't let you burn me, so I got to be about burning you. You gotta switch, I gotta switch. Who gonna make it out?
Let me ask you this here: you think some politicians or law enforcement could do something to clean this shit up?
No.
Or I was about to say, or bridge a gap. And I asked that because I went to an NAACP meeting before.
Mm-hmm.
And man, you had the chief of police in there, you had a few officers, you had a few judges and whatnot. A few different people spoke. And few different people, it was a panel and a day of questioning just about how they could bridge the gap between law enforcement and the community. And one thing that I remember I stood up myself and spoke about was that we don't see no sign of police until it's some trouble. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no humanitarian dynamic to it, to where no officers or nobody that you know affiliated with law enforcement coming shooting basketball with your kids at the park on the weekend.
No.
And of course that I was met with pushback on them saying, you know, they have a life too. They get paid for a service. Man, in my opinion, y'all signed up for that.
Right.
So yeah, man, like So that's your answer. You say it ain't nothing that can be. It's too far gone.
Yeah, and like you say, like they saying they don't have time to do the little shit like playing ball or letting the community get to know them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But some of these motherfuckers got obsessive personalities to where they got hard-ons for certain people in the community. And that's the only reason why we know certain police, because that nigga is repetitive. You know what I'm saying? I seen on your list, bruh, stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you from my area, you definitely know bruh, stupid. I don't know if the youngsters know him like I know him, but man, that shit ain't right. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying that, you know, he not, or police like him not doing their job, but it's like what you saying. You putting so much strain on the community, what are you doing to help the community? You know what I'm saying? I remember one time when I was a dead game artist, and you know, everybody had a nice car and some rims, and sometimes the studio session, it used to be at the old record shop, Bottom Line. And that's right on the corner of the main street in the hood, you know what I'm saying? So you can't miss us when we there. So sometimes, I mean, there's one particular time, I mean, we had a Hummer on 30s out there, Infinity truck on 6s, a couple Beamers, a couple Benzes, a couple IROCs, you know what I'm saying? All that shit in the parking lot, whooped around. We in there recording. Man, you know, we got cameras on the studio, so we could see everything going on outside. But man, we see the police pull up. As soon as we look on the camera, we could see it's stupid, you know what I'm saying? So nigga like, man, don't nobody go outside. You know what I'm saying? We just stay in this bitch. Man, them niggas went to flashing their flashlights in everybody's car. I'm talking about went to every car, flashing
For what
flashlights.
though?
No probable
Just
cause.
harass.
Just harassing, my nigga. You hear me? Bam. Me and my little partner, them in the Infinity truck, they got a blunt in the ashtray. So he seen the blunt. Man, that boy came in the studio. Hey, who this Infinity truck for? So my little dog, who it was for, he wasn't saying nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, that's mine. That's my shit. He's like, man, they got a blunt in the ashtray. I'm like, man, you coming here about that? He's like, yeah, you got a blunt in the ashtray, I'm finna write you a summons for it. Come on outside. So I go outside and get the summons for the blunt, you know what I'm saying? Bam. His partner, he like a rookie or some shit, that boy go to searching through the car, whooped around, find some more shit in the car, you know what I'm saying? So he like, oh, this yours too? I'm like, oh no, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I took the lick on the blunt, that's mine, you know what I'm saying? So bam, he go back in the studio trying to find out who the truck for. So now my little dog gotta tell him that's his truck, you know what I'm saying? But whatever was found in the truck wasn't really for my little dog.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't for me neither. But we know who it's for, but you know what I'm saying? Nigga ain't finna pop that off. So nigga like, dang. Long story short, my little dog, who the truck for, went to jail for something that was for one of my other little dogs, right?
Right.
We just had to go bond them out. It was a fucked up situation, you know what I'm saying? But we in the studio doing something
Minding
our business, working. Now we gotta go spend, we had to spend like $10,000 to get him out of jail.
He had got put off the force one time or something for like shooting somebody.
Yeah, excessive force type shit, I think.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I believe he recently back on the force. Probably not on the street, but yeah, that's Baton Rouge politics for you.
Yeah.
Man, you mentioned Dead Game. You were an artist over there at one point.
Yeah.
Man, if you could give us could you give us any insight on like what happened over there, man? Dead Game, they weren't too far removed from a badass ENT around that time. Like they had over time they developed a roster, but Kevin Gates specifically, like especially around that time that you're speaking of, man, they was on fire.
Jail. Everybody went to jail. Jail fucked some shit up. What's all this Slim said? If it wasn't for the penitentiary, I would have been rich. I'm a fool. That's just how I go down here.
Gates came home and I believe it was something about some paperwork. They had hit a manager.
I mean, I probably know details, but it ain't for me to speak on. You know what I'm saying? I could say that while he was gone, Vic had AAA and he was pumping Gates music through there, and that's another. I think that's one of the main reasons why he was still so hot when he came home. and he kind of looked at the label. It was like they might have had dropped the ball a little bit, and he was ready to go do his own thing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, they got his mind together.
Right.
Man, speaking of Kevin Gates, y'all was just together a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah, he came down here to the River Center. Had a big show. He did it for Jeff Perry. Man, to my knowledge, he was on stage. He said he did the show for free. Yeah, on the muscle for Jeff.
Man, y'all posted a picture. You, Gates, and a couple of players from the females LSU basketball team.
Yeah. Congrats to the women Tigers.
Congratulations to the Lady Tigers for winning their first NAACP championship.
First ever.
Man, you see that story took that headlines crazy. We all know what took place, what didn't take place. Man, what's your thoughts and opinions on that?
Man, it's crazy because I know everybody else seen the meme or the tweet or whatever it was, and it was like it took LSU to win to bring back segregation. That shit really split the country up for at least 3 days. It was white and black for a minute. You know what I'm saying? And it shouldn't be like that. Like, man, like them girls out there being themselves. You know what I'm saying? You just watching them hoop, but it's different when you know your kind or your color do it. It ain't. You know what I'm saying?
But see,
we under so much scrutiny, bro, and like it shouldn't be like that.
Part of what you said is part of what I have a problem with is the fact that it only lasted for 3 days.
Right.
I feel like they won a battle, but it's a bigger war yet it to be won.
Right.
I feel like it was a lot of racism exhibited.
Oh yeah.
Bigotry. But sexism.
Yeah, it takes stuff like that for you to see, like the country really hadn't changed. They just learned how to modernize slavery. You know what I'm saying? They learned how to do it in our face. You know, even with sports. You know what I'm saying? Like the NIL deals. That's like they threw us a bone. They throwing the kids a bone. That's great for the kids. Man, it's still $1 billion industry that the kids only getting what 5% of.
They giving them crumbs.
10% of. Man, come on, man. And most of the sports that's watched, what the color being watched?
Black.
All right.
Man, shout out to Angela Reese.
Oh yeah, Angel Reese, Bayou Boy.
Angel Reese, I'm sorry.
Flau'jae. Yeah, the whole starting five. Man, the girl who hit 100% in the first half, man, you did your shit. You got some more. Man, when she threw that bitch up and it hit the backboard and went in, I said, oh, it's over for him. It's destiny.
Man, I had no idea Flau'jae was such a talented rapper.
Oh yeah, she gunsmoke, she raw.
I saw the America's Got Talent performance.
Yeah, that's what got my attention. See, I had already heard a couple times and knew she was nice, but man, to do it on that big of a stage, bro, you gotta have some nuts. Like you gotta have like, you know what I'm saying? That shit gotta be in you. That shit ain't on you. Man, she rocked that crowd. Like everybody in the crowd, anybody who ever watched that shit, you felt her. And like that just let you know, like, man, she just a star, basketball star, rap star. Like it don't matter what she do, like the dressing, like the fashion shit she going, like she just got it. You know what I'm saying?
Unapologetic, like she said.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rewind a little bit, man. You started rapping in 2000?
Yeah, that's when I really started like recording. Yeah.
You started rapping during your rap career, man. You done been around
everybody.
For lack of better words, you done been around everybody, man. Mm-hmm. Everybody. 80% of the southern hemisphere as far as rappers when it comes to industry in the last 10 years, your Trills, your Atlanta artists, man, again, you said everybody. Man, you even got a feature from Young Boy.
Yeah.
Where you got that motivation from? I'm gonna start at that part. What had you wanting to rap? Where you got that love from? What motivated that?
All right. Remember you asked me about being the only child? Mm-hmm. The only child, so I used to be at the house by myself after school. Like I be seeing that shit on Instagram too, when they be saying like, if you grew up in a certain era, you ain't have a babysitter. You babysitted yourself, and your mama told you don't open the door for nobody.
I remember them days.
Yeah, nigga, I was like 5 or 6 getting off the bus with my own key going in the house. You know what I'm saying? And just waiting until moms got out of work or whatever. But I'ma tell you, this shit was crazy. Like back in the Gap, they used to have like, you know, cable. They still got cable boxes, but back in the Gap, there used to be a brown cable box that everybody had, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you had a little money or whatever. And you could get the cable box, put a chip in the motherfucker, get somebody to put a chip in the motherfucker, and all the movie channels, you get them bitches for free, including pay-per-view. I'm talking about you get all the boxing fights, all the pornos, all that shit free once you pay for the chip. Like this was some real old school shit, you know what I'm saying? But we had that shit, so we used to watch all the fights in my house, all that shit. But nigga, I was 5 and 6 already knowing what porn was, like watching that shit faithfully after school and shit, cause I'm at home by myself. So bam, I'm going to the flea market one day with my older girl cousin. She bought. See, out of all the grandkids, she the oldest one, and I'm the next oldest one out of all the grandkids. You feel me? So she like top dog, but I'm the top dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm the top nigga, like as far as the grandkids. So me and her used to always be at odds, but she was older than me, so I ain't gonna lie, man. My cousin used to be beating the fuck out of me. I'm talking about sitting on me, all kind of shit. But that was my dog. You feel me? So she took me to the flea market one day. She was gonna get her a starter or a Oakland A starter jersey. That's like the crisscross type. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was on it. So bam, we got by the tapes. I seen the NWA tape. I'm like, oh, I need this. I gave her the money. I'm like, buy me that tape. She like, boy, I ain't buying you that. Your mama gonna kill me. I'm like, man, buy the fucking tape. You know what I'm saying? So she going by the tape. I seen the Uncle Luke tape too. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get this bitch too. Yeah, threw that bitch on the counter with her. So she, because you had to be a certain age to buy shit like that. So she bought the tapes for me. Every day after school, I'm blasting NWA. I'm blasting Uncle Luke. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I was on.
Them flavors, your name.
Yeah. So bam, about months later, my mom would come home early. She hear, you know, I got that shit whooping in the living room. I don't even hear her come in. She turn that shit down. Boy, what that is you listening to? I'm like, oh, NWA. She like, how you get this? I don't tell her, my cousin. I was like, man, I got it from school. Don't trip. You know what I'm saying? She like, you can't listen to this. I'm like, man, I already know it word for word. Like, man, it's mine. You tripping. You know what I'm saying? So got her cool with it, and from there, I just was listening to rap crazy. Like, you know, KRS-One. I'm listening to everything. Nas. You know what I'm saying? By the time I got in high school, I was on Cash Money and No Limit Hard. You know what I'm saying? By that time, they hadn't developed. At first, I was a No Limit head. Like, nigga, you couldn't tell me nothing about C Murder. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that was my dog. But see, then Cash Money started to get the, you know what I'm saying? And see, Cash Money had the beats. I ain't gonna lie, No Limit beats hard too. Beats by the pound, all that shit raw. But Cash Money, that nigga Manny was just on some different type of time. That nigga had then went to somewhere else, you know what I'm saying? And then Juve come with 400 Degrees and changed my fucking life. You know what I'm saying? The whole 400 Degrees as a kid listening to that, nigga, that shit will make you decide if you gonna be a street nigga or not. Like, that's like a Bible, my nigga, like a Louisiana Bible. If you ain't no street nigga, go listen to Juvenile 400 Degrees. And if you scared of anything he's saying in there, don't go jump off the pole. But if that shit enticing you, you might be a high boy, nigga. You hear me? Cause that's how all the high boys just became, like, you know, Uptown Ivy, you know, the top, man, that's what we was on. We thought we was Cash Money, my nigga, you know what I'm saying? And then from there, I got on Jay-Z. But see, everybody was on, like, the new Jay-Z, like, In My Lifetime, Dynasty. But I had went back to 96 Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt. And then that shit gave me my flow, like. I'm like, oh, he ill, you know what I'm saying? And he was talking that real D-boy shit on her. See, I still like Jay, but Jay, like, he too far gone. Like, he got too much money, like, so he be shitting on the niggas like us, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it, but I don't relate to you no more. But Reasonable Doubt Jay-Z, I relate to him. You feel me? Like, yeah, so, yeah, and from there, that's, you know, I was rapping, but a lot of people ain't know I rap. see Gates and then my little partner Sicker that I was in the group with, they was known as rappers around the school because they just used to be rapping for anybody, you know what I'm saying? Because they wanted to rap. I was always a ball player. Now, they had certain people that knew I could rap, but the people that knew I could rap, they used to be listening to them rap, and they'd be like, man, please rap for them because they go, you know what I'm saying? So, because I think I was nice at the time. Yeah, you know.
I asked you that question first because I want to know, man, being around so many people in the industry, getting so much game, learning as much as you done learned over the last 15 years moving around. Man, why you don't think you done got your shot yet? On the music hit?
The honest to God truth.
Honest to God truth.
I mean, I gotta have this conversation with myself a lot, you know what I'm saying? And
Trench Talk here for you.
so look, I can't deny who I was and who I used to be. You feel me? I'm a removed real street nigga that's trying to like give some insight to the youngsters. Like, you ain't gotta be no bitch ass nigga, but you ain't gotta be out here. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's where I went left. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying that to say like, Baton Rouge will corrupt you. You know what I'm saying? And I could honestly say from like, I don't know if you heard the story about me taking gay shots.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just something simple that I told, but that's who I was. Like, I was a taker. Like, I used to trap, but I used to take too. You know what I'm saying? I think I helped develop, and that shit burned me up to this day that I helped develop where Baton Rouge is at. Cause this bitch used to be Jigga City, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was one of the first niggas who made doing down to school. Like, we sipping syrup, we popping tails, we popping balls, you know what I'm saying? You know, like Fat, I retired for them balls, now I'm taking tails. Like, Fat was my little nigga, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I feel like I introduced all kind of drugs that niggas can't handle. Not that they wasn't here, but niggas wasn't about doing no shit that they didn't know about. You know what I'm saying? But they see a nigga like me functioning. Like, man, I know a nigga who get loaded, and that nigga got that bag, that nigga got them hoes, he rap, you know what I'm saying? Like, he don't look like he on nothing, you know what I'm saying? So I know niggas was like, man, I could do that shit too. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep it G. I used to go in the studio, like with Lil and the Champion, man, I'd bust down a Roxy with a bar and bust that bitch in your face, snort that bitch. So I know niggas looking at me like, you know, a nigga go down talk you know what I'm saying? And then go do the same thing, you know what I'm saying? You feel me?
Everybody, one ain't willing to say it in the mirror or say it in front of a camera.
You feel me?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just giving you some insight. I know who I am. I know who I was, you know what I'm saying? And I can honestly say, like, my karma for, you know what I'm saying, a lot of the shit that I put out in the universe, it probably took a long time for me to, they got karma and dharma, so I gotta put dharma out there too, you know what I'm saying? I feel like dharma is when you start reaping the benefits of living right, you know what I'm saying? And that's where I'm in now, you feel me? So if it's in my cards, it's gonna happen. But I can honestly say, like, man, when you a fucked up individual, you win for so long, you know what I'm saying? But that shit ain't what it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why niggas be going through what they be going through. Like, you might be seeing a nigga winning, but a nigga might have just beat a murder. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you looking at it like, oh yeah, but that nigga just beat that bitch, and you know, yeah, but 2 years from now, he probably gonna get murdered. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just got, all you gotta do is keep living and watch him die. You feel me? So, I feel like God done spared me, cause I ain't like, even though I did fucked up shit, I was the nigga who jacked without a gag. You know what I'm saying? So if I got you, it was on some chestnut checkers, mind play type shit, I bet you'll never do it again. So I taught you a lesson. And I ain't come disrespect you and bat you in your shit. Or, you know what I'm saying? You feel me? I ain't saying I was right. You know what I'm saying? But I was a real street nigga. Like, so that's what I be saying about these rappers, bro. Like, to even be able to obtain a deal like they don't, like they getting, you wasn't no bad nigga, my nigga. You got the deal and became a bad nigga. And that's why you going through all this bullshit you going through, dummy. I've been a nigga who chose, you know what I'm saying, the ladder, I went through it, like I survived it, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you knew my war stories and all the shit I've been through, like, that shit ain't with no rinky-dink niggas. Them with some niggas, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying, like, it's just hard for me to believe that nigga was like that before they did us and all that shit they stirring up, because a nigga who like that get a situation like that, they not finna fumble that shit off. They know what they came from. So for niggas to be steady fucking with that when they, man, a label done gave you 300 grand to play with, and you putting that bitch on bodies and whoop the around, man. Say something. Maybe it's just a different era, but I'm old law. You know what I'm saying? The old law, I'm like Uncle Willie. I said I wasn't gonna move out the hood, but once I got my money, I was gone.
Man,
fuck wrong with you?
Another thing, I think it be lacking the accountability and discipline piece.
Right.
More so accountability.
But that's another thing I'm saying about my karma. A lot of the niggas who out right now who young, the people they looked up to, they not real. I'm not saying that they not real D-boys, but these the D-boys that do their drugs. These the D-boys that trick off. You know what I'm saying? These the D-boys that want to be seen, put money to their
generation been tricked, misled.
Yeah. So everything that they learn from that they think is right was always wrong. And I was part of the wrong.
And that calls for unlearning and relearning.
Yeah. So I had to unlearn, relearn, and now I gotta put that back out there. That's why I don't mind putting myself on display and saying I did nothing that I did. You feel me?
Right.
You know.
It's definitely commendable.
I got kids. I got 16 and 17-year-old little boys, and I know the trail that I left out here for them. Man, that'll be really selfish of me to not to try to get in front of it and be like, look, bro, I did that bad, bro. Like, we was popping pills, like we wasn't in our right mind. Like, we started popping ecstasy. You know what I'm saying? Then we started drinking syrup, and you know, like, yeah, we was living it up, but saying like, you know, this ain't what it is. You feel me? You know, it's a generation of junkies, basically.
That part. Look, I'm listening to you. Before, there's a couple more questions I want to ask you before I let you go. I want to ask you this, man. To sit here and tell a generation, everybody who gonna pick it up and you put it down, man, what's the difference between a real man and a real nigga, if it is one?
I mean, like I say, what I say ain't just law, but it's just, you know, I feel like I got a good perspective, right?
Point of view.
All right. A real man gonna always take care of his responsibilities, or at least try to, and he gonna be accountable. You know what I'm saying? A real man, you can criticize him and he can take something from it and build from it. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna just look at it like, oh, you just down with me, whoop the man. You know what I'm saying? All right, a real man, as far as if he got kids, you know what I'm saying? Cause like, we ain't dealing in a time where it's hard to deal with women, you know what I'm saying? So even if you're not in your kid's life, just the attempts mean something. You know what I'm saying? But who you are around your kids means something too. You know what I'm saying? So if you bringing them around harm's way, you doing certain shit in front of them, like, that might not be real man shit, cause, you know what I'm saying? Even though you living a certain life, don't mean that they gotta have them same cars. You know what I'm saying? You could be doing whatever you doing and, you know, whatever, but it ain't gotta be seen, you know what I'm saying? I feel like a real man could stand and fight when he need to, but a real man gonna be able to walk away if he need to, cause you know, especially if you got kids, you got to go home, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? And that's selfish for you, the nigga that you getting into it with, that you want to punch in his face. The time you punch him in his face, you saying that he mean more to you, well, you showing him that you ain't no bitch, or you could beat him up, means more than you, than your kids at home. And that go back to selling drugs. Yeah, that money good, right? But if you get popped, fuck that girl that y'all be trying to stay out here and fuck, you know what I'm saying? What about that kid that's gonna lose their time with you? Like, you saying that the money from the drugs that's paying for her Pampers or paying for her food, that shit is more important than her having you here, and it ain't. You know what I'm saying? But that ain't for me to tell no nigga not to start sell drugs. You know what I'm saying?
They gotta put it on the scale.
Yeah, I'm just putting it out there for you. You know what I'm saying? Cause the same energy that you putting into that, man, your mind, like, I feel like successful niggas, drug dealers, so niggas who not getting caught. You know what I'm saying? And they getting some money. And they taking care of household. If you can do that, bro, you can run a company. You CEO already. All you gotta do is apply it to something else. It's the same, you know what I'm saying? Merchandise, get it, profit off of it, flip it again. You know what I'm saying?
Same formula.
Same formula. You feel me? But you know, you won't go back to being a real nigga. I feel like real nigga shit come into like homeboy shit. Like if you know, if it's a clique of niggas or that's your partner, you can be a real nigga to him if you know, being loyal and faithful to y'all relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like you a real nigga if you take your lick. Like I feel like that rat and shit, that shit like a gray area. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you remember, Max had a song where is he a rat for that?
And that's one of the ones.
Man, he gave so many perspectives of would y'all still call this man a rat? You know what I'm saying? And they got some real niggas who work real jobs. You know what I'm saying? They in the plant. They woo, you know what I'm saying? But they still tapped in, they still live in the hood, they from the hood, they still woo the work.
As Max Manella, is he a rat for that? For y'all that don't know.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, he gave perspective to say like, all right, this man go to work every day. He ain't in the streets, but he come home and then y'all trapping in the yard next to his yard. The police pull up, they throw the shit, then they take everybody to jail. Then he like, well, that shit wasn't mine, it was for such and such. And then he like, is he a rat for that? You see what I'm saying?
I remember.
All right. He shouldn't even be in that situation because a real nigga supposed to say, man, no, that he ain't had nothing to do with it. That's mine.
Or a real man supposed to.
Oh, a real man.
Gotcha.
There you go.
That's, and I asked you that, man, because, man, I appreciate you. Again, I told you your point of view. I noticed in a lot of your music lately, you've been trying to change the narrative.
Yeah, most definitely.
You done switched the tone of your music.
Yeah.
And like you say, that comes from you, I guess, trying to put the medicine in the candy.
Yeah, like, I mean, because, like you say, everybody know me as A1 or Wizard, A1 Wizard. Like, I mean, he wasn't no great man. You know what I'm saying? I'm still Zay. My name's Xavier, you know what I'm saying? And like, I'm just trying to be true to myself, and a lot of the shit that I adapted and adopted back then, I was just being a follower, being a product of my environment, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, it take a real man to admit that.
Right.
That's deep. Man, I'm gonna end this on this note. I'm gonna ask Zay, are you a chief in the Indian? And how important is the role that you play?
Man, that's a great question. At heart, I'm a chief. But I could be an Indian for the right chief.
Break it down. For the ones who hear it.
Everybody not meant to lead. But everybody can lead. You know what I'm saying? But it's gonna be levels.
You got the ability.
Yeah, you're gonna have the ability to lead, but you might not be meant to lead. You know what I'm saying? So it depends on the circumstances and like assets over liabilities type thing, you know what I'm saying? What the chief brings to the table, what I bring to the table, you know? So for me to be an Indian for a chief, like, he gotta bring a lot to the table, and like, I gotta know, like, I could trust him with my life. And I feel like for me to be able to be a chief, yeah, my Indians gonna have to be able to trust me with their life. You know, it's a give and take, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like a lot of situations, there's too many chiefs and not enough Indians. Like, cause like, if the Indians know how to play their role, man, you might eat more than a chief.
Tony Montana wash dishes.
Right.
You gotta start from somewhere. Again, I go back to that discipline. Putting in work and being consistent at whatever you do choose to do.
Drug game. The middleman make more money than the plug most of the time.
I agree.
But people don't know that or see that.
Hey, and a lot of people duck that. And look, that's a perfect example. A lot of people feel away about being called the middleman.
Right.
Because you want to be the guy.
I do the middleman out the whole time. See, a lot of people think the middleman is the plug. Yeah.
I know it.
Yeah.
But yeah, say no to drugs. Hopefully you ain't got to deal with no middleman.
Right, all the plugs.
All the plugs,
Because
yeah.
most of the plugs are feds, because, you know, that's how they go.
We advocating for you to go to work, man. Go raise your kids and that type of stuff.
Yes, sir.
Man, Zay, you got anything else you want to let the trenches know, man?
Man, I mean, I got 4-5 projects out there. Go check them out. You gotta spell just with JU $sign though. I think the algorithm, however they say that shit, is getting to where you can spell it with the S, but spell it with the $sign, ZAE. I got Straight Ape shit that just dropped. The Cali executive produced that. Like, that's like my grown man album. Like, yeah, if you want to get some jewels on that bitch, that's what you go listen to. Gemini, that's more of a personal album, like both sides of me, you know what I'm saying? And then I dropped This My Shit and damn, it's another one. Oh, Dope Sell Itself. That's more like Baton Rouge, like, you know what I'm saying? Even though, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I want to give other rappers and people who listen to rap this little gem before I go. We take rap way too little. Just because I'm rapping that shit don't mean I'm living that shit. Don't mean I ain't never lived that shit. You know what I'm saying? But I'm past that. So you shouldn't take anything that I'm saying literal to the point where you should go apply it to your life. You know what I'm saying? But I want rappers to know, like, just because you rapping that gangster shit don't mean you can't give a nigga some positive shit. You know what I'm saying? Cause I got both. I'm a Gemini. It's like even though I got this willpower to do the right thing, I'll still bust your ass if you keep fucking playing with me. Like, that's just how I'm coming. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna have to deal with, was I being selfish to my kids when that bridge come, you know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to get to a better place.
A work in progress.
Yeah, I'm a work in progress. But what I'm saying is, music is supposed to be entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Even with girls, they taking that shit literal to where they selling their cat and they on OnlyFans now, and like they not being true to themselves, and they having threesomes and just doing shit because they
talk about it.
Yeah, because the music is putting it out there, but the music is supposed to be something you can envision, not go live. Like, you're supposed to put the headphones on and see it. Like, they're painting a picture for you. So it's like watching a movie that's not visually in front of you, but you're supposed to be able to listen to the detail and catch it, right? So that's like a white boy who never been to the hood. If he listened to my music, he should be able to tap into the hood and be like, damn, I don't know if I want to go there, but that shit sound cool. You feel me? So it's the same thing with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone movie. They shooting prop guns, they cutting heads off. You gonna leave the movies and go do that?
It ain't only. I'm gonna give this pushback though. I'm gonna give this little pushback. It ain't only adults that consume music.
Right.
Saying,
man, that's a great point.
Everybody don't have the same brain capacity to make them.
But that's why it's parental advisory. That's why parents have to be aware. That's why I gave the story about. I was going home by myself and I had to end up. I was watching porn. I had Inerview, Uncle Luke. I was turned out right then. Probably didn't even know it. I was flipped. So from there, from being 6 or 7, I knew how to hide what I knew my mom and them didn't want me to be. From then, I did that all the way to high school to the point where I'm like, man, I ain't hiding no more. This is who I am. I be beating shit up and I sell drugs. You know what I'm saying? My daddy hated that about me. You feel me? But what I'm saying is, if you're not aware of what your kid's into, you don't know who your kid really is, it might shoot up the fucking school.
You definitely gotta be on that.
Yeah.
Man, again, we appreciate you. The trenches needed your opinions. We gonna need your opinions. Man, we can't wait to do some more work in the future.
Most definitely, we locked in. I love the question.
We're gonna put it together. And man, that's Trench Talk T and Zay signing out.
For shit, so wow.